Language learning can feel really complicated. My name is Jamie, I'm a language coach. In this video, I'm going to explain language learning simply, without talking about exact strategies or exact resources, because those are going to differ from person to person, from day to day. If you are overwhelmed by language learning and you're not sure what direction to go, this video is for you. How to learn a language in simplest terms. Step 1 is to pick the language that you want to learn. And I know that sounds obvious and it might seem really simple, but for a lot of language learners, it's not that simple. A lot of people get stuck on this first step for a variety of reasons. Either they're confused between which language they want to learn, which language will be more productive, which language will be more useful in their life. Maybe they feel more obligated to learn another language because maybe it's their family's language, but they really want to learn another language. Maybe another language is going to be better for your career. I've heard them all, and I can tell you with 100% confidence that if you're in this position, pick the language that you want to learn. It doesn't matter if it's not going to be useful to your life or your career. It doesn't matter if it's not as easy to learn as some other languages that you probably should learn. And even if you have picked Spanish, for example, and you're confused between different accents, just pick the one that you really like and stick to it. Stop wasting your time being confused about which language you should learn and second guessing yourself and invalidating your opinion and what you want to learn. Focus on what you want to do and do it. For 2 reasons. The first reason is that any reason not to learn the language that you really want to learn is not nearly as important as you think it is. You can always learn that other language, but right now you're not learning languages at all. And that's the worst possible solution. It doesn't actually matter. Second reason is that a lot of people get stuck here because they're afraid to move forward. Now, if you have that fear, I'm not gonna be able to solve that in this video, but if that does sound about right to you, let me know in the comments down below. But step 1 is to pick your language and own it. Don't worry about what you're supposed to do, because anybody who says that you're supposed to do something to learn a language is probably trying to sell you something that you don't need. Now that you've made a decision on which language you want to learn, the second step in language learning in the simplest terms is to decide how you want to use that language and commit. Be clear on exactly what your goals are and intentionally focus your activities on that goal. What does that even mean? When I work with my clients in the method, the second step that they take is to get clear on what exactly they want to accomplish with their language learning. Do they want to have conversations? Do they want to understand movies? Do they want to write a book? Do they want to write a journal? Do they want to have a pen pal? Do they want to be able to understand music? Do they want to have near native pronunciation? These are all very different goals. And it can be easy to group all these goals together into learn the language, but they're very, very different. And this is where a lot of language learners get stuck. Let's say, for example, that you want to write to a pen pal. Basically, writing to a pen pal would mean to be able to write and understand the written word of the language. So would it be helpful to practice speaking the language? I mean, it's not going to be not helpful, it's not going to hurt you, but it's not going to intentionally get you closer to the goal that you're looking to accomplish. It is by no means a waste of time. However, if you don't have that much time, I would really recommend you focusing on the exact activities that will get you closer to your exact goal. Basically, you should be committing the majority of your time, if not all of your time, when you're learning a language, getting closer to the specific eventual goal that you have in mind. That's why if you want to be able to speak French, spending all of your time on Duolingo isn't going to get you where you need to go because you're not speaking it. And no, 2 little exercises every day is not nearly enough to get you speaking conversationally. If you're spending all of your time tapping buttons or memorizing vocabulary words, you're gonna end up disappointed because you're not doing the things that you need to do to get where you wanna go. That said, don't worry about the apps or the courses or the strategies or whatever it is yet. Instead, focus on your goal. Now, the next step on how to learn a language in simplest terms can go one of 2 ways. The first option is for my DIYers. If you're really motivated to figure out all this language learning yourself, by all means, take what you've learned so far in this video about what you want in your language learning, go to my language app search link below in the description and plug in all your stuff. And if you want a little bit more guidance, once you go down to my language app search, there's also a link for my free course that will help you understand how to best use my language app search. My free course is also linked below in the description if you want to go straight to there. But once you're confident on what language you want to learn and what skills you want to learn, you can plug any information into my language app search, and whatever resources that are available in that language for that goal will show up. You'll get linked to my blog post reviews of all those different resources, and you can go in there, you can see what it looks like, and then at the very end of all of my blog posts, there are alternatives that are similar to that resource. So you can pick and choose what sounds right for you and what doesn't sound right for you. Now, disclaimer if you do it this way. Even though my language app search is going to get you a lot closer to resources that will actually be beneficial to you, it's still not going to be perfect. And here's why. Let's say, for example, you want to find a language app that will help you to learn to speak German. You can plug in German and you can plug in speaking, and there's a bunch of different resources, but they don't all teach speaking in the same way. Some have chatbots, some have you send in recordings of yourself, some are more focused on pronunciation, some will throw you right into a conversation, some are a little bit slower. There's a lot of different options out there, and while that's fantastic, it can be really difficult to know what exactly you're looking for unless you have the appropriate education. So that said, if you're really focused on DIYing it, you don't really want any more hand-holding, keep in mind that the first few resources that you try when you use my language app search are probably not going to be a perfect fit. It's important to keep an objective, open mind and basically take it as data. What works for you, what doesn't work for you, what do you enjoy, what do you not enjoy. And then once you go through a few different resources, then hopefully you'll be able to get a slightly better picture of what you're looking for in your language learning. And so eventually you'll get to the point where you find a resource or a strategy that you enjoy. Hopefully. Now, if you don't want to deal with spending all that time and hoping that you find the right resources and hoping that you're searching for the right thing, then the other option is to join the method, which is my full course. While my language app search will direct you to a more specific search for your language learning, the method will help you to understand what exactly is holding you back, show you exactly which strategies, which resources you should be using. So instead of just searching for language apps that teach you how to speak German, you can search for language apps that teach you to speak German with a chatbot that goes to a specific level or starts at a specific level and teaches you certain vocabulary and will also help you to build up your grammar using a particular approach or strategy, and will give you the content that you need to do some other strategy off to the side. We can get very, very particular, very, very specific, and make it a lot more efficient for you to learn a language. Because instead of using my free app search and kind of poking around and hope for the best and seeing like 7 different apps and trying them all and spending a lot of time doing that, the method will pinpoint exactly which resources and which strategies you should be using based on your interests, your goals, your fears, all that jazz. It's basically the most efficient use of your time, to be honest. Whichever route you choose, the next step in the simplest language learning explanation you'll ever hear is the same. Be kind to yourself. And I know that sounds kind of like wishy-washy, but hear me out. Learning a language is not just about finding the strategy, finding the apps, plug it into your life, and everything is perfect and wonderful and happy. Life happens sometimes. Life is stressful, life is unpredictable. Plus, while you're getting used to language learning and seeing how it works with your life and your brain, you're going to be disappointed sometimes. You're going to have certain expectations and you're not going to be able to meet them sometimes. Learning a language is never going to be a straight shot. There are ups and downs to language learning, just like there are ups and downs to life. Because what we're doing is we're making language learning a part of our everyday life. We're not just like chucking our entire life away and replacing it with language learning. Whatever you do, you need to be accepting and kind and just kind of go with the flow. Don't stick to any hard and fast rules because that's not what life is about. I hope that I could explain language learning simply enough for you to get a basic understanding of what's going on without all the loud noises of all the polyglots and the courses and the apps and the sales and the deals and the comparison and all that stuff. Because honestly, language learning is a lot more simple than a lot of people would have you believe. It's just a matter of making sure that you stick to the basics, and when a problem comes up, learn how to solve the problem and move on. So if you're ready for your next step in your language learning, go to the link below in the description for my language app search, which you can totally use free of charge. And again, I would really recommend you start with my free course that will teach you how to use my language app search and teach you to look within for your own language learning a little bit more. And if you found this video valuable, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new one all about learning languages every Wednesday. Go grab that free course. See you there.